And starting things off is a man who is no stranger here to the Observer. Always good to have him on, attorney at law, Brian Baig. A pleasant good evening to you, Mr. Baig.
Good night, Mikey. How are you doing?
Well, always good to hear your voice, my good friend. And thank you so much for taking time out of your hectic schedule, because I know these days you're burning the midnight oil. I mean, you have your duties at court, and yet still you are doing what you have to do on the political side. So I must say hats off to you. I certainly wouldn't want to be you at this time when it's hectic. So much is taking place. Before we dive into the whole essence of the politics, your colleague, that is the Oropouche East MP, Dr. Rudal Munilal, at the last Monday night report, says that the current government wants to jail a judge. He said they are trying to lock him up because of his statements from the bench, statements that are critical of the government. He added that the rule of law is in danger, the judiciary is in danger. Care to expand on that so we can know exactly what is taking place?
Well, first of all, let me say again, good night to you, your viewers, and your listeners. And I want to say that I put you all very important, as I made sure, I stepped out of a meeting from what you said I am also involved in, to speak with you all tonight. And consider the substantive matter you just raised. It is very much alarming, frightening, shocking, and even deeply concerning of what was raised. As a practicing attorney at law, at both the magistrate court level and at the high court level, I am very, very concerned about that, because for this issue to be raised, it is showing that it seems as though the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago is looking to have their tentacles within the judiciary. And I have to agree with listening to Dr. Munilal that this is very, very, very concerning. And I agree with him that we must call upon the Chief Justice to speak out on this matter. We must know what is going on, because we don't know who this is about. I mean, we have a lot of senior judges in Trinidad and Tobago. We have a lot of judges who have made a lot of pronouncements on a lot of matters that has even affected this government, especially the way they have governed this country, where persons have to go to the court to seek justice against the injustice that has been done by this government. So I really would love to know what or who is looking to be targeted.
Yeah, because, I mean, looking at it from the average citizen, it seems that every Monday morning there's an issue. And there's an issue here where most people may not be inclined to understand because it's the rule of law. But Dr. Munilal went on to say that a special squad of police officers have been assigned to find, build, and fabricate a case against the judge. Who assigned these officers? Who handpicked these officers? And to whom do these officers answer to? I mean, it's scary.
But it is beyond scary. It seems as though we have special teams being formed. We had a special team formed to go to another country to abduct someone. Now we see that we have the lockup judge unit. We don't know who's in charge of this unit. The Commissioner of Police, I would love to hear what the Commissioner of Police has to say about this as well. Because I agree with you. Where is this unit? Who is in charge of this unit? How much is in this unit? Is it an all-male unit, an all-female unit? Is it a mixed unit? Is it a unit of persons who would have retired in the TTPS and brought back in? Or as they had some foreigner was brought into the country and made us special reserve police? Is that happening here now? We don't know. So it is very, very, it is a frightening development.
Well, it has to be. I mean, I don't want to put you into anything with the Law Association, but one would think that those who know better would say something. I mean, when there's a deafening silence, it gives you the feeling that if it's someone today that we know, then it can be any one of us tomorrow. And so where is that buffering? Where is that line that has to be drawn where people need to understand you cannot simply trample on the rights of citizens?
Well, we have seen a trend of late that the Law Association has been a bit more vociferous on matters, and I think maybe this matter needs to be more looked into, and maybe if more is divulged, the law association may speak on it. I would love to hear what the main man would have to speak on this is the head of the judiciary, and that is the Honorable Lord Chief Justice.
Yeah, but again, it seems that this hand, the silhouette of this hand, this political hand, has once again entered into an arena that is supposed to be independent, that is supposed to be fair, but yet still we're seeing signs of someone pulling the strings and saying, listen, you are working on behalf of such and such, and this is what we need you to do. Again, I mean, if we take all of this into light, what is taking place, we are in for some very dark days if these things materialize.
Of course, my friend, I do believe in the tenets of the separation of powers, and our judiciary must be separate from and apart from our executive and our legislature. We must not allow the tentacles of politicians to enter our judiciary, because if that happens, then we no longer are a democratic state. Neither the rule of law will reign supreme. We then go into a form of dictatorship, a form of autocracy, a form of a way in which you no longer have a person who can be seen as an independent judge, but you may have somebody who is now going to be towing the line of someone politically, and we can't have that. And here, where the government is making these, if in fact this is true, then it is damning on the government as well. And the Attorney General, I would love to hear, learned senior counsel, where is he in all of this?
Yeah, very, very scary thing. Looking at the whole political aspect now, I mean, you have been involved for quite some time, and of course, your role as part of the executive of the United National Congress. During this process, are you witnessing anything different compared to what you have seen years gone by?
Well, what I would say is that we are seeing a trend where the people of this country are asking for a change. And we are seeing where the political trend is that persons are gravitating towards the United National Congress, and there are persons who are gravitating towards the change of the need of a change, if you understand where I'm coming from. And we have been, I don't know if you've been noticing that in the Monday night meetings, it has been, the crowds have been growing and growing, and it shows that the people are returning, the people are seeing that the United National Congress is the party to lead the way in local government. It is the only party, we keep talking about, if we may talk local government for a bit, is that this is the only party that brought true local government reform. As you know, the only local government reform that has been brought into this country is the way in which an alderman is selected, right? By means of the amendment of the Municipal Corporations Act, where another alderman is brought in through proportional representation. And that is showed you true reform, not like this type of reform where I call puppy show reform. That is not from this government. Because if we want to talk the reform that the PNM has been pushing, in 2007, Mikey, the PNM has been talking local government reform. You hear the year I just called, Mikey?
Yeah.
2007. I know about that because I've seen what's been happening. And the PNM uses that as a carrot on the stick to hold people to ransom with local government. As you know, they were delaying elections under Mr. Manning for so long under the disguise of local government reform. Then it happened with Dr. Rowley. But it took a Privy Council judgment, and I must pay homage to one of my legal mentors, Senior Counsel Aaron Ramlogan, to ensure that we were able, and there was a ruling. And that's why we are where we are now, where we are having a local government election coming. And I have to say that people have been coming in the droves, and they're saying that the UNC is the way to go forward. So I hope I answered your question.
Now, take in consideration all that has taken place with this reform. I mean, the average citizen has been hearing this narrative back and forth, some people trying to gain political mileage and traction on it. But at the end of the day, I think what really matters is that what about garbage collection? What about adequate water supply? Grounds that need to be taken care of as far as playgrounds, all of these basic things. People complaining about the neighbor not having a dog, the neighbor having a dog, and that dog. And I mean, the list goes on and on. Is it being lost in what we're seeing here now? Because most people are saying, listen, we want to send a message. But for the average citizen, we simply want a better quality of life.
Of course, and local government is one way of ensuring a better way of life. Of course, with the reform, there were different ways of ensuring. There are now different ways of ensuring that the corporations have more power to ensure that you have better sanitation and things like that. But you have to ensure that it is the corporation has to be the one to do it. But under this reform that they were bringing, they were taking away some of that power out of the council. And that is not the proper reform that you want. But you want to have what is called an executive council, and that's the only thing they were pushing. But an executive council is not the one to ensure that you have garbage collection. No. It is an entire holistic operation of the corporation. So these kind of things I heard from the now Minister of Local Government, who I think this is totally out of his remit. Sadly, I don't know what fell in his remit because he was one of the worst AGs we ever had before what we have now. I mean, I think Mr. Amo is giving him competition for the worst. So the only problem is that the government has not explained any of those things you've asked properly, because those things still will happen, and it will happen through the corporation still. Even the issue of the dog back in Mikee.
Yeah. And people want that. But let me ask you then, so what does this local government election mean to you? As far as something that needs to come out of it that you are looking for, what does it mean to you?
What it means to me as a burgess, a citizen of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, what it means to me is that this local government election must mark as a signal to the removal of the People's National Movement. And that we need to see Puna Piako with a corporation where our division I'm under is poorly represented. I have a UNC councillor, but unfortunately there's a PNM-run corporation. They have starved them for resources, as we have all UNC corporations have been starved and has been literally ignored. So what we need to see is this nation tell the People's National Movement in Sawa Laventil, it's time to go. To the Puna Piako Regional Corporation, it's time to go. In Arima, it's time to go. For Port of Spain, it is time for the city of Port of Spain to have the rising sun in there to ensure that the city gives better representation, better public utilities to be delivered. We have a city that thinks. And the sad part is that PNM is in charge of Port of Spain, and they have failed Port of Spain. It is time that we have the UNC involved. It is time for the UNC to be in charge of this local government. San Fernando, it is time for the UNC to be in charge of San Fernando. It is time for that.
Now, every time the bell rings and we have to go to the polls, it seems that the issue of race raises its ugly head. And we've been talking here on the Observer about that, and I think that takes away sometimes from where the focus needs to be. Taking that in consideration, there is a factor that many people are looking at as far as geographical discrimination. Who are the people that get attended to if there's flooding, if there's a natural disaster? Who are the corporations that get most of the funding? Is this something that you want to deal with head on as far as you're concerned as a major issue?
Definitely. We have had geographical discrimination happening in David. We have had geographical discrimination in Princess Song. We've had discrimination in Sangli Grande. Just the other day, we had floods in the Sangli Grande area, and nothing was done to help these people. As you would recall, you saw guys who were in a Cayenne, and we had the MP for Komoto Manzala and his team, who I am very close with. They had to be there to help the people. Where was the ODPF? And I know that the MP for Komoto Manzala has asked for the ODPF to have an office in the east now. So that alone should tell you, Mikee, that it is time for them. When the People's Partnership under Kamla Prasad Bissessa was in office, I don't think anyone can talk about geographical discrimination. Diego Martin had major floods, and the People's Partnership was out there in the full. When Port of Spain flooded, the People's Partnership under Kamala Prasad, the UNC leader, ensured that Port of Spain was dealt with. So, under the PNF, we are seeing discrimination at the highest level, geographically. And I'm saying now, with the UNC office, with the UNC Charging Corporation, we will not have that happening at all.
All right. And I believe that the candidate presentation will take place, would that be sometime soon at the Naparima College?
So I understand, and more of that information will come out soon.
All right. If you can please send it to us then, and we will share it with our viewers. Any closing comments? Go right ahead.
Well, what I want to tell people that this local government election is an important local government election. We must tell the people of this nation that you want safer homes, you vote for the United National Congress. You need a better form of living, the United National Congress for you. And we tell you, don't vote, my friend.
Thank you so much, Mr. Baig, for taking time out and linking with us right here on The Observer. As usual, all the best of luck to you and your entire team. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Pat.